Alright, before I get on with the main topic of the video, you guys gotta check out this freaking clip, dude. I'll play it here in a few seconds, but this shit had me dying. Make sure your volume is turned all the way down, or mostly down, because this kid screams. He literally screams at the top of his lungs, and it's freaking hilarious. So, here it is.
Together. Play together.
Go get Bonda. Go get Bonda right away. In front of me, in front of me, in front of me.
Turn the fucking light on. Joke! You guys suck! You guys suck!
Every fucking round.
Fucking told you, man. Let's fucking go, dude. I fucking told you. Fucking go, dude. I fucking told you.
The dude was literally acting like he won COD champs. The shit was hilarious, man. I think what made it more funny was the random guys in the freaking background. I don't know who the streamer is, but if he acts like this every time he wins a match, then I need to freaking watch him, dude. I mean, that shit was hilarious. Alright, so we have more roster changes. We have LG potentially picking up John and JKap. You know, it's just a rumor, but I'm probably about 90% sure that the new Luminosity roster will be Octane, Slacked, John, and of course JKap. But, you know, just by looking at this team on paper, you can kind of tell that this will be a pretty good team. I think that this team is well balanced with just the right amount of slaying power. Not only are you adding two former world champions in John and JKap, but you're also adding like two players who knew how to play S&D, which, if you remember, LG in Infinite Warfare wasn't the best when it came to Search and Destroy. Really, the main problem I have with the last LG roster is that they really didn't have an in-game leader, and you know, not only does JKap kind of bring that to the table, but there's really something special about him. I don't know what it is, to be honest, but throughout his entire career, from like Modern Warfare 2 to like all the way to Infinite Warfare, he's never really been on a bad team. And, you know, especially in the beginning of his career, he was by far the best player in the game. He was a huge reason why Extravagant was so successful in Modern Warfare 2 and why Octane Gaming was so dominant in Black Ops 1. And, you know, I know that he didn't have the best Infinite Warfare season, but, you know, he's not going to play like that again, especially going to a boots on the ground Call of Duty where he's been so successful in the past. And, you know, I think, me personally, I think he'll bounce back to the top next year. John was kind of the same way. He was very up and down in Infinite Warfare, but, you know, I thought he played amazing at COD Champs. Besides last year, John was probably the best player on Envy that event. And really, John has been a dominant player ever since, like, MLG Dallas and Black Ops 1. That was his first ever, I guess, MLG event. But let's not forget that he was also, you know, the COD Champs MVP in Black Ops 3, so... You know, John and just like JKap, they're both like really good players. So anyway, as for Slacked, I think he's one of the best aggressive submachine gun players in Call of Duty. I would honestly put him up there with like Scump, Zuma, Apathy, Attached. You know, all those guys. He's really that good, and I kind of feel like he's a little underrated. You know what I mean? Like, not many people are talking about him that much, which is honestly quite sad. He's a really good player. So now we have Octane, and without a doubt he's been one of the best AR players in the last 2 years. And you know, for a few months he was actually considered the best player in Infinite Warfare. And you know, there's some people calling him a jetpacker because, you know, he came up in the jetpack Call of Duty era, but you know, he'll be fine going into World War II. Believe me, man, this dude is a monster. He's a freaking tank. He can outgun pretty much anyone, so you know, Octane will be fine going into World War II, and I expect he'll be one of the top players as well. But, you know, if this is actually LG's roster going into World War II, then out of all the teams that are making changes, I probably like this team the best.